Welcome back. It is yours truly, Nick, a Movie AV Impulse. And today we are going to get into my top 5, which I'm going to break this down into a 2-part. So you're going to get a whole nother one in a couple of weeks because I realized I got a lot of remakes that I actually like better than the original. So for right now, we're going to get into part 1, and this is going to be my top 5 Hollywood remakes that are better than the original. And while you may not agree, these are just my opinions, so disagree all you want, but it's not going to change my mind. By all means, comment down below after you're done watching the video on which one do you think I got right and which one you think I might have gotten wrong, because there are a lot of remakes that are better than the original. Hate to say it, but anyways, let's get into that intro.
Makes you think, what's the channel about? What's this really about? It's about teaching life lessons, teaching the youth. It's about top 5s, movie reviews. That's what makes you who you are, makes you what you are. There's no rules in this game. There's no parameters. Just truth. So, 2-3 weeks from now, you're gonna wish you subscribed. 2-3 weeks from now, you're gonna be looking for Movie AV Impulse. Okay, I'm reloaded. Let's go.
And coming in at number 5. Now, a lot of you may not know this because I didn't know it until a couple of months ago, but this remake has been done a lot, including the original 1914 movie in black and white. And then it went on to be a Broadway play, was then remade into another movie, and then remade into a woman's version called Miss. And then you'll see why I didn't put in the other one. But number 5 is going to be Brewsters Millions. I love this. Richard Pryor, I almost love all his movies. There's a couple in his archive that I could kind of do without. But when it comes to comedy relief and just all around great comedy movies, you got to put Richard Pryor's movies up in them top brackets because they were just hilarious. You know, between him and Eddie Murphy and all these great comics that came out, the comedy era is just crazy. This movie was made in 1985, and as far as I know, this is the latest version. And if there is another version out there, it's probably not comparing to Richard Pryor's. And if you don't know about this movie, basically, he has to spend millions, I think it's like $30 million. Otherwise, he can't inherit the fortune that was left behind to him. So it's just a great one. This is a Shout Factory exclusive, and I believe it's still available. You should definitely go pick this up. All right, coming in at number 4. Now, the original movie was made in 1968, and then there was another remake with Mark Wahlberg. My God, I'm so glad that didn't really take off anywhere. And then you get the 2011 James Franco remake with my man Caesar, and that's going to be Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I think that this is way better than the original. While I give a lot of credit to the originality in Planet of the Apes from the original 1968 film, the makeup artists, the sound effects, the way that they made these horses look in all the scenes and like all the live action stunts they did, I still think that this is a better version of it. If you've never seen this movie, I'm going to link you to my 2 dudes, Alex and Nate, over at Action Movie Guys Podcast. I will leave their YouTube link as well as their Spotify in case you just want to listen. They did the entire trilogy of the newer versions, and I just love this version over the old one. To be honest, I can't even make it halfway through the original one, and then the Mark Wahlberg one. Let's just take that out of the entire archive. Coming in at number 3, now the original 1995 version does have a slightly different name, and it is become a cult classic because of Sylvester Stallone. But when it comes to this comic book adaptation movie, Dredd is the better version than Judge Dredd. While I do give a lot of credit, especially in 1995, that CGI was not the greatest. Um, and it's really hard to watch, to be honest. The only reason why I own it and have it and watch it is because of Sylvester Stallone, because everybody loves Stallone. I just think the 2012 Dread just knocks it out of the park. Way better, and I love where it takes place. It's just in a single building, and it just gets wild. And I miss watching this in 3D. I really wish that TV manufacturers would bring back 3D so I wouldn't have to buy a projector, because I hate projection screens. But anyways, that's going to be coming in at number 3. Number 2, while the original 1973 movie was great, I did enjoy it, especially watching it with my grandmother when I was a little kid, and it scared the living bejesus out of me. This version of the Crazies from 2010 is way better than the original. So much more scare, so much more drama, and there's so much more intensity when watching this movie. It is just crazy, and I love, like, the first 10 minutes of the movie just really kicks it off with my man walking down the field, and he's just like, yo, what's going on, what are you doing? And then boom, it just turns into a chaotic let's run and get the hell out of here mess. And this adaptation of it, the remake, is way better than the original, even though the original does hold a great part of my childhood. I still gotta run with this one. I'll pop this one in way before the original. Now, before I get into my number 1, I do have 2 honorable mentions, and the reason why I didn't put these in and they won't be in on part 2 is because, in one way or another, while they are a little bit better than the originals, they're not as good, and I don't find myself watching them as much as the originals, and that is going to both be It and The Last House on the Left. And I'm going to tell you why. The original Last House on the Left was a Wes Craven directed, written, and basically the director on the 2009 version, he basically just did the same formula, same storyline, just newer style. Whereas the 1972 Wes Craven version was actually banned from a lot of theaters, especially in the United Kingdom, because of the rape scene and like just the cruelty of humanity, as they put it. But it's hard to say that it's better than the original, but this one does still hold a good place as a good remake along with it. Now, the 1990 TV movie slash series, however you want to call it, I just think that Tim Curry, when I was a kid, just scared me like half to death. And realistically, I think that the kids in It did a better job. But when you switch over to chapter 2, it just didn't hold up to the adults in the original 1990 film. So that's why I really couldn't push it past the original, but they're still both great, amazing remakes. It's just that when it comes to It, the kids in It just did such a fantastic job. Bill Skarsgård scared me, especially knowing that he could actually do that thing with his eyes and everything, and the way he contorted himself out of the refrigerator and everything is such a fantastic remake. And then they went and they kind of ruined it with chapter 2, because like I said, the adults in the original version, which is so much better, especially John Ritter, awesome performance. I still wish John Ritter was around, RIP. But those are my 2 honorable mentions. They are still definitely worth checking out. Don't pass these up. And the number 1, this is going to get me a lot of hate, but hey, this is just me, because the original War of the Worlds cannot compare to the Tom Cruise version. I love this. I put this in a top 5 Dolby Atmos video that I recently done, or that I did a little while ago. I'll link that up here. This just, oh my God, the Dolby Vision, the Dolby Atmos, the everything in this movie just intensifies it and makes it that much better. Speaking of Dolby Atmos, come Sunday, I'm gonna do a deeper dive in why I think a lot of these studios are just being lazy, especially with these new releases coming out, with some of these movies that they could really take advantage of Dolby Atmos. They're just not doing it. And I want to bring that attention to these studios, and maybe they'll start implementing Dolby Atmos rather than just DTS 5.1, because personally, if you've never experienced Dolby Atmos, you are missing out. But you'll get more explanation in Sunday's video. Anyways, much love. And if you disagree with any of my, top five, hey, that's just my opinion. And I will be doing a part 2 very soon. So much love. I'm out of here. Peace. Movie. It was upside down. World of War.